If you're in the market for sporty, compact, luxury four-door today, and you want one that's made in the United States, you only have 4 options, including the Tesla Model 3, the Cadillac CT4, and the Volvo S60. But they're also all made in China for that market. If you're looking for one that's only made in the United States, you only have one choice, and this is it. Any guesses what it is? Anyone? It's the... You may not know this, but every Acura sold in the United States is also made in the United States, including the 2024 Integra Type S, which hails from the great state of Ohio. As far as I'm concerned, that pretty much makes it as American as chili on spaghetti. This is a modern reboot of the high-performance Integras of a quarter century ago, and for $51,995 comes fully loaded. There are no options other than the color and some appearance accessories. And that's important because this comes standard with a 6-speed manual transmission, and you can't even get it with an automatic, just to drive the whole driver's car point home. It also has a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine shared with the Honda Civic Type R, which is a very hot hatchback, and here sends 320 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque through the front wheels. And depending on how you look at it, the Integra is also a hot hatchback because its sedan-like shape hides a lift-back design and a very large cargo area. The Type S also has a body that's nearly 3 inches wider than the standard Integras, which start about 20 grand less than this, but only have 200 horsepower under the hood. This hood has a big vent in it, and the grille's bigger than the other Integras as well. That allows for better airflow, both for cooling and to reduce lift. While the IMSA racing car style diffuser improves downforce at the rear and wraps a triple exhaust system. The Type S rides in a uniquely designed and tuned suspension system with computer-controlled adaptive dampers and gets a set of sticky Michelin tires that are practically slicks down the center. The interior is not much different than the rest of the Integra lineup, although it does get these supportive seats and some Type S trim. It maybe feels a little cheap for a $50,000 car, although then again with inflation, maybe not, but they really didn't have to change anything because it's set up great. Shifter's easy to grab, and check out the dash. Instead of a giant touchscreen, you've got knobs and buttons. I love it. There's one other thing I really like a lot, and it might just be me. The air vents are fantastic, and not just because they have these cool grills on them, but also, you know, some cars, you got a round one over here, square one here, sometimes they're up and down. Well, these are symmetrical. So when your hands are on the wheel, the air is blowing on them equally. That's something that drives me crazy in other cars, but it's not a problem here. Even though the Integra is a compact car, it has the most legroom in its class, so it does pretty well on my 6'1" scooch test, where I see if I can sit behind myself with the driver's seat set how I like it. Unfortunately, I can't say the same thing about the headroom. It's a little tight up there. Would be tough maybe even putting on a hat. And while I'm back here, this seems like a good time for the Caffeina cup and bottle holder count, brought to you by Caffeina caffeinated water. Caffeina just kicked in, yo. Sorry, bad Acura VTEC joke. If you know, you know. But one thing you might not know from the looks of it is that even though this appears to be a bench seat, there are only 2 seats here. There's no seatbelt in the center or armrest. So they put the cup holders in the seat bottom, which also reminds you not to sit there. But fits 2 bottles of Caffeina just perfectly. And there's another 2 up front as usual, but what's cool about them is that they're very deep, so you can still use the shifter when you have a bottle in there. Along with that, each door has a bottle slot. Caffeina! Buy it on Amazon using the link below. Regardless of what mode you're in, 310 pound-feet of torque is a lot for just the front tires to handle. And while this doesn't have sloppy torque steer, when you get on the gas, you definitely feel the front wheels taking over like a couple of big draft horses. Get in! It is very neutral through the turns though, and ultimately gives you a little understeer once you've crossed the limit, which is very high. Unlike the cranked up Integras of old, this is very much a luxury car first, performance car second. In fact, the drive modes have a comfort setting that softens up the suspension, along with Sport and Sport Plus that tighten it up. And Sport Plus has a tip of the hat to the old school tuner Integras, because because it opens up an exhaust valve that makes it louder and throws a little gas into the exhaust pipes for some crackling pop. Acura sees this as a competitor to vehicles like the Audi S3, the Mercedes-Benz CLA 35, and the BMW M235i, but they all have all-wheel drive. What they don't have is a manual transmission. You can't even get one. Acura knows very well that if it offered this with an automatic, it would sell boatloads of them, but it doesn't care. You either take it or leave it. And it's so good, you won't mind taking it. The shifter and the clutch are as perfect as you can imagine. I don't even mind sitting in stop-and-go traffic with it. Even if DIY driving isn't your thing, you might appreciate the street cred the Integra Type S already has. I got approving horn toots today from an Audi S5, a Dodge Challenger, and a 201 horsepower Acura ILX Type S, which is technically the car this replaced in the lineup. And how?